Feeling gratitude with the loving energy. The Loving Energy Newsletter, Horse Issue number 3. 1. Hello, expensive person. 2. The Divine Reviews, expensive person. 3. Pocket money in your pocket. 4. Sekhem Pyramid Transmission, edition, expensive person. 5. I am grateful for all the expensive persons in my life. One. Hello, expensive person. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Loving Energy Newsletter, Horse Issue number 3, which is all about Guaiyan, expensive person. The Chinese term Guaiyan, expensive person, has nothing to do with Prada Gucci shoppers or professionals with high price tags. In Chinese, every word can carry multiple meanings. Guai can mean expensive, costly, precious, valuable, or noble. Yan means human or person. When we put them together, Guaiyan, expensive person, describes someone whose presence is important because they offer crucial, influential support. The kind of support that shifts the direction of your life in a positive way. An expensive person can be someone you already know or someone who's new to your life. They can be anyone, a teacher or mentor, a friend or family member, even a child. They appear at a crucial point in your life and offer exactly what you need: guidance, direction, financial help, health support, or any form of assistance that helps your life change for the better. We seldom talk about expensive person in our day-to-day life. It is a term that we hear from Chinese metaphysics practitioners, people skilled in astrology, palm reading, and other divination arts, or what one might call fortune tellers. I've never had a conversation with any of my Chinese friends about expensive person. I wish I had. I think we all have multiple expensive persons in our lives, and talking or thinking about them is far nicer than talking or thinking about Xiuyan, small person, which is the opposite of expensive person and refers to people who harm us or who influence us negatively. So here's expensive person number 1 for this issue, my lovely friend Nicola. I met Nicola because he's a quantum healing hypnosis technique QHHT practitioner. He is also an IT expert and has his own company. I messaged him last month after not having spoken with him for over a year. I told him about my newsletter and invited him to sign up. He messaged me shortly after the publication of the last issue. He advised me to change the font because he thought Comic Sans, the font which I had used since the beginning, was not suitable for my content. He said it was outdated and people often associated it with comic and hence the name. You see, I like round font and I favor single story A and G. Most fonts use the double story versions, the A with the little hat and the G with a closed tail. The newsletter platform doesn't offer many font choices and none of the others had the shapes I love. But when an expert, and a caring friend at that, tells me something, I don't just throw it away. I did an internet search and found that Comic Sans was surprisingly controversial. Yes, I'm not joking. We live in a world where people have strong feelings about fonts, and you can read all the Comic Sans gossip through the link in the description. It made me look at my newsletter with fresh eyes. I didn't know a font could affect how people see my content or me. Nicola also mentioned brand image. I never thought I had a brand. I just thought, I didn't think. Now that I knew, I could see that Comic Sans was a mismatch. It wasn't easy to let go of it. You know how we can outgrow something like our favorite clothes or even relationships, but we are too attached to them to change. Soon though, I felt a sense of freedom as I tried out all the available fonts. I noticed for the first time that different fonts gave me different feelings. It was so fun. In the end, I chose Montserrat because it felt airy, spacious, and quite romantic, like walking on the beach in a cool summer's day, white linen dress flowing in the sea breeze. One slight problem though, the font also has haters who think it's too common, too fat, the eye too tall, and it's a lazy choice. This somehow makes me like Montserrat even more, since I was told I was too fat, too tall, and lazy. Nicola, my expensive person, helped me see what I didn't, and subsequently, I became intentional with my choices. This was super helpful, especially because shortly after that, I created 6 series of short videos, and I had to choose the fonts for each of them. 2 of those fonts have bad reputations actually. I chose them anyway because while I consider what people say, I choose what feels right for me. By the way, if you find this font hard to read, do let me know. I don't have to stick to one font forever. But for now, let's be lazy and take a walk on the beach together. May your day be breezy and your choices made freely, always. Love, Stephanie said, the loving energy. One of the videos from my What Is series is called What is Lazy? I would love to hear what you think of the font, and even more, what you think lazy really is. And if there are other concepts you would like us to explore in this series, let me know. I'll put a link to this short video in the end screen of this video. Two, the Divine Reveal's expensive person. The Divine Reveal TDR is a quantum health process that typically runs for 5 to 8 weeks, approximately 12 to 14 hours appointment time. Mocha Ahan was inspired by Anita Mujani's near-death experience, NDE, as detailed in her book Dying to Be Me, to create this unique modality for brain phenomenal transformation to committed individuals. All sessions are conducted online via Zoom. The first 2 steps of the TDR process, the TDR introductory session and Dying to Be Me book discussion, are always free of charge so that you will have necessary information to decide if and when you want to engage in the whole process. To read more about TDR or to schedule a TDR introductory session, please use the links in the description. Mocha Ahan, the TDR founder, was and still is my Kuai Yan, expensive person. I did not recognize this initially, and for many months, maybe over a year, I thought she was annoying and irritating because she had a way of making me confront myself, my knowledge, and my experience in a deep and unsettling way. One day, a message from the spirit that I received long ago came to my mind. I was frustrated with my growth, and I didn't know what to do. The spirit informed me that a teacher would come and give me everything that I couldn't imagine I could have. I didn't think that was possible, given my financial status at the time. They said not everyone worked for money, and this teacher was the perfect match for me. It was then I realized Mocha was the help the spirit foretold. During the 2-year period I studied with Mocha, I didn't just learn to facilitate the modalities, the divine reveal, and quantum pain relief that she recreated. I learned to be a better practitioner for my existing services through the skills I gathered from those courses and through her insistence that we know every detail and be intentional with our method. I also learned to become a better teacher of Sekhem by observing Mocha's patient, cerebral, yet highly intuitive way of teaching. Her generous nature influenced my own, and her faith in the divine strengthened mine. Mocha also gave me the ideas for the sections you now see in this newsletter. After I showed her my very first newsletter draft, which looked more like a flyer, she suggested adding more content, such as Thought of the Month, an affirmation, and an energy transmission. And then one day, out of the blue, she told me I could use Thought of the Moon cycle content for videos. I was thinking about making short videos at the time, and it just clicked. It was like Mocha could connect with me intuitively. I can tell you honestly that it can feel quite lonely sometimes sitting here on my own writing newsletters or making videos. But thanks to Mocha, my expensive person, I know I'm never alone. When I was pondering Mocha's ideas for my newsletter, A fridge magnet that said "Choice and not chance determines your destiny" caught my eye. It became the very first thought of the moon cycle, which has now evolved into the first video in the Thought Bubble series. I put a link to this video in the end screen of this video. Three, pocket money in your pocket. 袋錢入你袋, pocket money in your pocket, is a Cantonese folk expression that literally means put money in your pocket, but the usage almost never concerns money. It's usually about passing on advice, lived experience, or knowledge. For example, you should listen to me attentively. I'm putting money in your pocket. I'm showing you how to be smart at your job. I'm putting money in your pocket. You're a loser if you don't listen to me. You get the gist. And yes, the person using this expression is often condescending and overbearing. Decades ago, for reasons I no longer recall, I promised myself that whenever someone put money in my pocket, no matter how the advice was delivered, I would keep the money and consider it. It came to me that we do not know everything, and it is important to stay open to feedback. Lucky that, because I used to have a strong defense mechanism, and my instinct towards any advice or feedback was to fight it. So even though I still fought it, I would keep the money in my pocket and consider it in secret. It is not always easy to accept criticism, especially when we have worked so hard to achieve something. But it is essential to welcome people's input if we want to grow. Even the most expensive person cannot help us unless we keep an open mind. But just because someone thinks they are putting money in your pocket doesn't mean it's true. We also need discernment. There are many ways to do the same thing, and we all have our own preferences. While it's helpful to consider other people's opinions, experience, or knowledge, it's important that we always look within and choose what aligns with us. During this moon cycle, notice whether you allow people to put money in your pocket or whether you block them off completely, whether you let people dictate you with their advice, and whether you choose what to take in with discernment. The Spirit put money into my pocket always, and I share that money with you in the Spirit Say series. All my short video series are available on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. 4. Sekhem Pyramid Transmission, Edition, Expensive Person. My Guiyan, Expensive Person number 3 for this issue is Ida Lyle, my late Sekhem teacher. Ida was the first person who linked me to Sekhem, but it was only when I studied with her to become a Sekhem master practitioner that I recognized how truly expensive she was to me. Since it was my first time studying with Ida, she wanted to make sure I had everything I needed, including some very basic information. When she told me a Sekhem treatment session should be 1 hour, I expressed my surprise. But it wasn't 1 hour. Your sessions for me and Photoman were 2 to 3 hours. There are always special cases, she replied. Back when we were living in Melbourne, Australia, many things were going wrong for Photoman, and I desperately wanted to find a kinesiologist to give him some relief. At the time, kinesiology was the only natural healing method I knew, so that was what I searched for. The search wasn't straightforward. Melbourne was like kinesiology central, so many practitioners, so many branches, and I had no idea which one to choose. I didn't know about intuition back then, nor about concepts like soul contracts or soul groups, but when I saw the profile picture of Ida Lyle, I thought, she's the one. Photoman was a changed person when he came back from his session with Ida. He said Ida told him I should visit her too. Normally, I would have considered that a sales tactic, but I was relieved that someone wanted to look after me, so I went. The effect of whatever Ida did for me was subtle, but I enjoyed my visit. Ida was a quiet person, and I hung on to every word she said, especially when she spoke about her work. A small voice inside me whispered, I want to do this too, and I would firmly reply, no, I cannot possibly do it. When Photoman and I returned to London and I finally had space to think about what I wanted to do, I looked up what Ida had done. Sekhem was one of the services she offered, and I remembered her saying that her trip to Egypt had taught her many things. I found a Sekhem teacher in London and began studying, and only during the class did I realize that while Ida had done some kinesiology with me, the sessions she gave me were, for the most part, Sekhem, which originated from ancient Egypt. Ida didn't just give Photoman and me tremendous help when we needed it, she also introduced me to Sekhem, which is my destiny. She is a classic expansive person, someone who appears at crucial moments in life, offering exactly the help and direction we need. She guided me toward my path, and I wish I could have had her as my teacher for more years, but I suppose her work with me is complete now. Looking back, I was such a mess when I met Ida and when I first stepped into my spiritual studies. Aside from Sekhem, one of the things that helped me grow was practicing the breath. I created the series Breathe With Me in the hope that you will breathe well, even in the middle of scrolling. Sekhem Pyramid Transmission started when an idea came to me to share Sekhem in a simple way. It is not how I normally facilitate a Sekhem treatment. What I do with Sekhem Pyramid Transmission is that I channel a certain amount of Sekhem energy for you. I also create a pyramid for you, a sacred place, to be placed around you when you are receiving the transmission. My Divine Spirit team fills the pyramid with elements and colors according to the moon cycle's collective energy need. You can receive this transmission at your convenience during this moon cycle. Here's what you need to do in order to receive this transmission. 1. Get comfortable by either sitting with your back supported or lying down on your back for relaxation and circulation. 2. Give intention to the effect of, I would like to receive the horse issue number 3, Sekhem Pyramid Transmission now, to my highest good and will. 3. Relax for about half an hour. That's it. This time, my Divine Spirit team filled the pyramid with vibration of unicorn light, rainbow, rain cloud, thunder, and lightning. Look up the properties of these items if you feel drawn to. You may or may not feel anything. It's fine. Having sensation is not a requirement. The only requirement is that you're willing to receive. Please remember to say, to my highest good and will, so you know you are in control. If you have any questions, please ask in the comment section. I would love to hear about your experience. If you want to share the gift of Sekhem Pyramid Transmission with your friends, please send them the link to subscribe for the Loving Energy newsletter. I'll put the link in the description. Through my studies, I've accumulated many little treasures, little things that help me or delight me. I share these little delights with you in the short video series, A Little Thing. Five, I am grateful for all the expensive persons in my life. The You Are Amazing affirmation of this moon cycle is, I am grateful for all the expensive persons in my life. While writing this newsletter, I remembered many more expensive persons who gave me key assistance or influence. In strict Chinese metaphysics, only those who appear at crucial moments of our lives are considered expensive persons, but I feel like, why not widen the circle? And the why yes is simple. Gratitude makes me happy. It reminds me that no matter what I'm doing, I have so many people walking beside me. And of course, there are many more expensive persons and memories I cannot list here. Once I opened this train of thought, it simply didn't stop. Some of my expensive persons include a teacher from when I was 10, who once told us to take care not to have any shadows in our lives. He said, otherwise you'll end up becoming a shadow yourself. Another teacher from the same year who simply loved me. I can still see her adoring gaze. A basketball coach who told me she would never give anyone up at a time when I was ready to give up on myself. Another coach who taught me that mastering the basics is the key to becoming a champion. My mom, who taught me to break free from superstition and laugh at what frightens me. My father, who never went to school but learned to read and write Chinese, one of the most complex writing systems, showing me that persistence is everything. My brother, who ponders on things since we were little, and so I ponder on things too. Photoman, who showed me the world, from Orthodox Church to the underbelly, from the rich and famous to the poor and forgotten, from meditation to Dolores Cannon, Gandhi to John Lennon, death to resurrection, love to Ralph. A little cousin who lived with my family for a couple of years when he was in kindergarten. One day he said the teacher asked in a test which side the sun rises from. He said he knew the answer was east, but he wrote south because he wanted to see what would happen. He reminded me of my childhood self, the child who wondered what would happen if I let go of the glass of water I was holding, and so I let go. It produced the most luminous sand and glistening sprinkles. The last memory keeps me curious, and now, while feeling emotional from remembering so many expensive persons, I finally see that letting go won't break us, not when we are supported by so many. It transforms us. During this moon cycle, say, I am grateful for all the expensive persons in my life daily and often, and see how loved and supported you come to feel. The A Good Feeling Truth series comes from the Are Amazing Affirmations of past issues. I changed it from affirmation to truth because it is the truth, and in case you don't recognize it yet, we ignite this truth together at the end of each video. We have reached the end of the horse issue number 3. The next issue will arrive at your mailbox on the 17th of May, Sunday, which is the first day of the 4th month in the Chinese calendar. Yes, the next new moon day.